Hey guys, and welcome to Petrol and welcome to very rural Worcestershire. It was a long drive, that one, but today is a day I've been looking forward to for a long time, and a project I've been working on for a while and been dying to share with you. Now, I've been doing YouTube for quite a long time, and during that time I've had the opportunity to have passenger rides with some amazing racing drivers. I've done a bit of racing, I've done track days, and I've been a motorsport fan since I was a kid. And the one thing I've always marvelled at and always wanted is when you see a racing driver that has a really cool helmet design, and you watch F1 and they come out with these special helmet designs at particular races. I've always wanted to have my own helmet done. And when I bought my current track day helmet, it was something I didn't understand the process. I didn't know how much it would cost. So I just bought an off-the-shelf painted helmet. But during Festival of Speed this year, when I drove the NASCAR, the owner of the car, Paul, introduced me to the guy who spray paints his helmets, a guy called Piers Dowell, who is one of the best airbrush helmet painters there are. He has done helmet designs for some really famous people within the world of motorsport. So today I've come down to see Piers at his workshop and take you through the process of an amazing helmet design we've come up with. I just cannot wait to share with you what we've come up with, and also the skill levels inside this workshop are properly next level. Hopefully you'll find this one really interesting. Now, before I introduce you to Piers and Lewis, who are going to be doing all of the amazing spray work on the helmet, let's just talk helmets for a while. So I guess if you're wanting to just do track days, you could just go out and buy a motorcycle helmet and use that. If you want to do any kind of motorsport competition, what you really need to do is make sure you buy a helmet with the right specification that will allow you to pass scrutineering. So the kind of FIA specification helmets are going to cost you quite a bit more. What I also wanted was to have a helmet that had intercom in it. So I spoke to Piers, and one of the things that he will do is recommend, a helmet that's appropriate for the usage that you want to do, and also has great contacts to source those helmets. So we ended up going for a Stilo helmet. This is actually the box for my helmet, and he works with Nicky Grist, who you may well have heard of from the world of rallying. And we actually ordered this helmet a couple of months back, and it was shipped to my house, and just made sure it fitted me okay. And then I shipped it back to Piers to do a lot of prep work that had to take place before I arrived today. But I'll get Piers on camera very shortly to talk about that. So the spec I've gone for is an ST5F helmet. Now, that's kind of what the raw state helmet looked like. One of the things Piers does first of all, and you'll notice there's no inner to this, they take all the lining out, they take the visor off the front, they take the connections for the intercom off so that they can spray it and not worry about any spraying. The other thing is I bought a helmet that has hands posts on it, so I can use my hands device. So that's pretty much the helmet I've gone for. So let's head on inside to the workshop. I'll introduce you to Piers. I want to talk about his kind of background and all of the different things he can do on a helmet design if you want it. So we'll wander in there and let's go and meet Piers. Now then, this is Piers. Welcome to Petrol, my friend.
Thank you very much.
It's great to be here finally. So we met at the Festival of Speed when I was driving Paul's amazing NASCAR, because you've done some helmets for Paul, or you were doing one and it didn't quite arrive. And
we've just finished that actually, a Jeff Gordon replica to match the Jeff Gordon car.
Very, very cool. So how long have you been doing helmet painting?
Picked up an airbrush for the first time 1990.
Wow.
Started airbrushing helmets 91.
Yeah.
As a way, I suppose, of tying the two interests I had, and still have, which was motocross and art.
Yeah.
So painted helmets were a thing in America. Sort of Troy Lee stuff had really taken off. We thought, you know what, I'll have a go at that. And really, it was a bit of cash to go down the coast jet skiing as well.
Yeah.
And 30 years later, I couldn't think of anything better to do, so I'm still doing it.
Still doing it. But I mean, we'll come on to this unbelievable object in front of us in a moment, because we talked about this when we met a couple of months ago to talk about this project. You showed me some pictures of this, and it's until you actually physically see it in the flesh, you can't do it justice with photographs. This is unbelievable.
Yeah.
So let's just talk a little bit about the helmet side of things. So I've been talking to the guys already about, if you want a helmet done, you've got a choice of what style of helmet and the type of helmet, and you can help your clients with that choice if they're not knowledgeable. I guess with the professional drivers you get coming.
Yeah, they kind of know what they want.
Exactly what they want, or they're sponsored by a particular.
Exactly, they already have the deal sorted on the helmet, but obviously if not, we can supply.
Yeah, so we've gone with a Stilo, exposed carbon fibre weave helmet, so it's very, very cool. And we've come up with a pretty cool design as well.
Yeah.
So that process, I had some ideas in my head what I wanted.
Yeah.
I had a logo of my own.
Yeah.
I've also worked with a couple of my partners, so with Hendy, with Lockton Performance, and with Lillian Stanley Finance to incorporate their logos into the design. And then one of my big heroes, Steve McQueen, I'm wearing my Monaco especially today, because you do these photorealism airbrush pieces of art.
Yeah, that's
and
correct.
I really wanted to do one of those on that.
Well, that's a skill set that actually isn't required, sadly, very often for crash helmets because of the sheer time and effort that goes into doing them. The piece here is an example of what we can do.
Before we get on to what we've got to do to the helmet and watch the process, can we just talk about these bits of artwork? Because there's this unbelievable homage to NASA and the moon landings.
Yeah.
And then there's a very nice guitar over there spinning around on a plinth.
Yeah. I mean, these are really, I got to the stage where sort of late 2000s, got to the stage where we were painting a lot of motorcycles and weren't doing many helmets, but we found with the sort of crash in 2008, nobody was having motorcycles painted. The benefit of painting motorcycles was their design requirements were very eclectic. So you've got a very varied type of subject matter to paint. It would be murals or graphics or flames or whatever. Helmets tend to be a little bit more graphic orientated, whereas you have to have the skill set to make a neat job of it, but it didn't really require anything artistic. And the sort of holy grail of airbrushing, I suppose, and rendering with an airbrush is photorealism, which is what it says on the tin, to make an image painted with an airbrush look like a photograph. So I thought, well, I'll need to do some demo pieces to really see what I can do and what I'm made of. And this piece here in front of us is the culmination of 500 hours in about 6 weeks. I mean, it almost killed me. I remember waking up face down in the keyboard at the end of it, trying to write a dissertation about it. But this is an example. It's something I'm very interested in personally. I painted all the images that you can see on it, constructed the whole piece from scratch, shipped it out to America, got it signed by one man that walked on the moon on every mission that landed, plus Michael Collins. So you've got Buzz Aldrin right through to Gene Cernan, the last man to walk on the moon.
Wow! And you look at and it does. You were saying one of the astronauts actually didn't believe that you'd airbrushed it.
That's correct. I mean, Gene Cernan was sort of incredulous. He said, "No way, is that a painting?" And so I gave him a disc at the time, not a USB stick. Say, look, there's the proof. It's, the image is in process.
Yeah, I mean, it is stunning. So when we were talking about the design. Initially, I just thought I'd have a Petrol logo and stuff and some nice colours. And then you started showing me some of the photorealism stuff. And I said, look, is there any chance that you could do a mural on my helmet?
Yeah. Well, the Steve McQueen thing's been asked for quite a few times. The sort of famous image with him giving the V's has been done a few times.
Yeah.
We've done for various clients. So it's nice to choose a different one for a start.
Yeah.
We're going to go for black and white on yours because it's a sort of colour is a quantum leap really in time and effort.
Yeah.
And black and white does the job. So we're going to time lapse that and throughout the process so you can see how these things come together.
What's the status of my helmet then? So I've had it at home, made sure it's the right size, shipped it back to you, and I know you've had to do some prep work before I arrived today, otherwise we weren't going to be able to kind of basically film everything in a day. Yeah,
so what we've done to get to this point, obviously you've tried it on, sent it back to us, we've stripped it down, we've removed the liner, the trim, all that sort of stuff, so literally all that's left in it are the two straps that are riveted in. Those are masked up. The helmet is then has all the decals removed from the outside because the certification stickers are on the inside, so that's not an issue.
Yeah.
Then the carbon fibre has been scuffed up, and we've put a clear adhesion promoter on and a clear coat of lacquer. The adhesion promoter, obviously, to allow the lacquer to stick, because carbon's very hard and the resin's hard, so it's very difficult to get anything to key to it. And then that allows us to sand that clear back after it's been cured, and then apply the paint scheme that you asked over the top. And the reason the lacquer goes down rather than the primer or a ground coat is because you wanted the carbon showing.
Yeah, because I think I said earlier on in the film, you think, I didn't think about the carbon until you shipped the helmet. I thought, this is so beautiful. You think, I've got to show that. I've got to show that.
Yeah.
So
they do look good. So what we'll probably do, I think we discussed doing the carbon in a matte finish at the end, and the graphics in a gloss finish, which I think will look great, because it looks like the pre-preg carbon, which it is.
Yeah. So let's follow the process through. Mm-hmm. So we've done some spraying already.
Yep.
And then I think the next thing, Lewis has got to do some marking up and scribing up. Yeah. And we'll have a look at that.
Pick it up from there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Wicked. Oh, this is just... So now the red undercoat's been put on the helmet. Lewis has just got to re-establish a couple of the lines on the helmet. The particular one, I'll try and point it out on the design, is this straight red line that comes across the bottom of the logo. So use this scribing tool. Oh wow, that's like super fiddly. Wow. Yeah, I already can work out I wouldn't be very good at this. So this is the mass, so underneath that we're keeping the red.
Yeah.
And then you're going to spray.
And then we'll spray the white
on top of that.
Yeah.
So one of the things I'm finding fascinating is when you kind of look at the design as it is there, is working out which bits you spray on first, and I guessed totally the wrong way, because I would have said, you spray the white stuff first and then you paint everything else around it, but red's first. So the edges of the red are all now masked up. The next thing is to mask up the P of the Petrol logo on the side. At this point you wish the helmets were just a flat surface, right? Instead of all the intricate, especially around where the visor goes in. That's like a 2-layer mask, right? It's a bit like the stickers you have on a car.
Yeah, so this is just transfer film, so it all comes over in the right proportion.
There's it. So it's just that middle bit you want.
Yep.
So that bit there is that bit just there. So let's have a quick talk about the helmet design itself. As I mentioned, I wanted to kind of do a couple of things. I wanted to have my logo and branding on display, and on the main design you've got the Petrol logo on the front, right in the middle of my forehead, and then on the side you've got the P of Petrol, which I think looks really, really cool. I wanted to showcase Piers's photorealism airbrush work, and the mural on the back of the helmet is probably one of my favourite images of Steve McQueen from the film Le Mans, where he's in his iconic race suit with his Monaco on display, and I just think that's going to look absolutely fantastic. And then I also have worked with 3 of my channel partners, so Hendy, Lockton Performance and Lillian Stanley all wanted to get involved in the project, and their logos are going to be on display. We've got Hendy around the halo, Lockton Performance on the chin, and then Lillian Stanley just in front of the hands post. And then the final thing is, just as a nod to Piers, we've got his logo on the main visor strip as well. And I just think it's going to look absolutely fantastic. So getting the logos onto the helmet is really clever. So you get a high resolution image, EPS file or something along those lines. And then the guys have plotted the logos, the various logos, onto this computer. And then that gets plotted out onto basically a stencil that they can then use to airbrush the logos onto the helmet. So, you know, you look at the helmet, you might think they're stickers. They're not. They're airbrushed on just to make them look absolutely perfect. So Lewis is just finishing off the masking for the bits of blue. So we can just kind of make out on the front the blue parts of the Petrol Ped logo coming right down the front of the chin. Blue stripe there. And then the P on the side. And that's all the blue, I guess.
Just got your name to go in that section there.
Is that a stencil as well?
Get your name in that section, and then we'll mask all that panel off around your name.
Yeah.
Yeah, then
cool.
We should be good to go.
Time for some blue. Now we airbrush in the little black logo in the Petrol Ped logo, which is actually the first bit of airbrushing we've done. He's making his way, the last, look at that. That is just cool. So now we've revealed the logo on the front. Lewis is just taking off lots of the masking, and the white that's underneath is now, I guess the next phase is to start putting my sponsor logos on. So we're now starting to apply do you call them stencils or templates?
Stencils.
Stencils, I do.
Yeah.
See, I was watching you from across the room measuring either side, so not only is it symmetrical either side, it's the same height. There's an awful lot of OCD going on in this workshop. And I love the way you, for the ones like R's and A's and O's, you take it off and then put the little bit back in the middle.
Yeah. It tends to get caught on a corner of the mask anyway. So it's easier to just take the middle out and drop it back in later.
You make that look so easy. Yes, she blows, look at that. Awesome. So now you just, I guess, mask around the outside of that and
Yep.
get your airbrush out with some black paint in it.
That's it.
Look at that, it's just wicked. 4, Hendy, and the bendy Hendy logo. It's a really fiddly bit, that, isn't it?
It's cut pretty clean, so it's not too bad.
You must get some logos where you get them and think, oh no, this is going to be a nightmare.
Yeah.
Cool. Time to reveal the Hendy logo. Oh, look at that. That is so fine, that around that top pen part of the logo. That's awesome. Time for a bit of Lily and Stanley, so we're going with silver, and it's going to be on the naked carbon, so it's going to look really cool. And then just to make the logo pop a little bit, there's an L and an S at the top, and we're going to do the S in gold just to make it really stand out. We've also just the finance underneath, we're doing that with a separate stencil just because the lettering's so fine. The big reveal. So we've gone full on shiny with the S. What do you call that? Candy?
Gold candy.
Gold candy. Oh yeah. That's come out brilliant. That is pretty spesh.
But the masking's still under there.
All we need now is to put finance underneath it. Okay, time for the big reveal.
There you go.
Right. Guys, that is unreal. I mean, I don't know if you can just, when you see the design come to life, having just seen it on a 2-plan diagram, amazing. But it's not finished. There's quite a bit left to do, isn't there?
Yeah, next stage is lacquer,
Yeah.
which will then be sanded down. That'll get rid of all the edges where the paint's built up on the carbon.
Yeah.
Then a white base has got to be put down for the mural at the back. Then it's got to be lacquered again, then sanded again, and then the mural's put on, then lacquered again, then sanded again, and then finally lacquered.
Excellent, so quite a lot of lacquering.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's all we've got time for me being here today. So I'm going to head off, leave this with you. Mm-hmm. And then what I'm going to do is now we're going to do some time lapse of you doing the mural on the back.
Yeah.
And then it just so happens that you're down at Rolls-Royce in a couple of weeks' time.
Yes.
And I live very close to Rolls-Royce, so you could meet up and we can
have the big reveal.
The big reveal of it finished. Lewis, thank you very much, my friend. You are
Pleasure. Thank
watching
you.
your work, just both of you, just the professionalism is unbelievable, but just check it out. I'll probably give it back to you now and you can, I don't want to drop it, so there you go. So let us cut to some airbrushing. Now then, spring forward a couple of weeks. The really interesting thing is here, you've actually seen more of this helmet than I have, but we're actually at the Aero Club at Goodwood because Piers is down here to see Rolls-Royce. But you got the helmet.
The big moment.
And I've purposefully said I didn't want to see any of the pictures. I've not seen anything apart from when we last saw it, when we left your workshop.
Yeah.
Should we dive in?
Well, I know you can't wait.
So how many hours did the mural take in the end?
Longer than I thought. It fought me a bit, actually.
Yeah?
So I'm a bit rusty, actually. So
This is my sexy visor, which I'll have a look at now.
It took a couple of days. I'm glad it wasn't colour.
I am mildly excited. I'm going to put that on the floor. Right, here we go. So.
I'll put the iridium visor on it for you. That's the clear one in there.
Oh, it's even better. I don't know which. Right, I'm going to go I'm going to go front first because I've seen the front.
It's not Christmas.
Oh, mate, it certainly is. Look at that.
Bit of fluff.
Now, I'm going to turn it around because the bit I'm really excited about is. Oh my goodness me. That's unbelievable. Look at that.
Tip it, roll it that way a little bit. That's it.
That is just, mate, that's unbelievable. the way it's blended into the back.
Yeah, we just faded a white base out over the carbon, lacquered it, sanded it, and then did the artwork over the top.
And then the fact, I love the way you've kept that colour.
Yeah, well, that's what we agreed when you were up, wasn't it? Just ties it all in.
That's unbelievable.
All you've got to do is live up to it now.
I know. I've got a really great helmet. I've just got to be able to be good enough to drive in it. That's just, it's exceeded all my wildest dreams, to be honest. So, a couple of things, I guess, for these guys. If they want something like this done, I know price is very much dependent on what you have done.
Yeah, I mean, the graphic element's fairly sort of normal in terms of price range.
Yeah.
But as soon as you get into murals, that is price on application, because you just don't know how long they're going to take.
So helmet-wise, would it be safe to say from kind of £500 or £600 up if it was a
so you can buy the
FIA
composite
spec
version of that helmet,
Yeah.
the fiberglass version, for about 550 quid, roughly speaking, plus VAT.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've gone for the carbon one, which is about twice the money, for the cheaper carbon one, and then you can go the 8860 or the Zero and on from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can start with a quality crash helmet for about 550 quid.
Yeah.
You know, Bell, Arrow, Stilo, anything like that.
Yeah.
And then you know, you can commission your own artwork artwork on it. We'll obviously help with the design process.
Yeah.
If you've got a few embryonic ideas, like you had really, you had a few ideas, things you needed to incorporate, had to have the logos, brought it all together.
I'm quite emotional actually, because that is right up there.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, with famous faces, you've got to get them something like, or you know, there's really no point.
That's my favourite picture of Steve McQueen anyway, but he's got his Monaco on, just like I got mine on today, especially. So.
Big deal with the watches.
Mate, well, I'm going to put all your details below. Get in touch if you want something like that. As we said, you know, I kind of wanted the mural on the back to showcase your skill, but also just something really, really special.
Yeah, what you'll find is, we've found with crash helmets over the years, if they're a plain white one and they've done their life expectancy in the loft or the bin, if it's custom painted glass case in the man cave.
I don't know whether I'm going to be brave enough to wear this, to be honest. Also, massive shout out to the 3 sponsors that help with this project. Hendy Group, Lockton Performance and Lillian Stanley. Without them, this project wouldn't have been possible, but a huge shout out to Piers. And,
it's been a pleasure.
But for both, well, watching both of you at work was sensational. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Put in the comments below what you think. Oh, it's just wicked. Mate, thank you so much.
Been a pleasure.
I hope you enjoyed that one, guys. As I said, I'll put all Piers' details below. Mate, if you want a cool helmet, then there's no better person to get in touch with. But if you enjoyed that, give me a thumbs up. Comments below are always welcome. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Petrol for plenty more content to come. I guess there's only one thing to do now. Is it a squeeze?
Well, you know it fits. You've tried it on already.
It's
bit overdressed for the cafe.
It is a bit overdressed for the cafe, but drive safe.